Number two in the field, number one in y'all's hearts, it's Chase Lane coming to you live with episode one of the Pod of Aggieland. Really excited to get this podcast started. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Shout out to Permi Media, my guys over there getting me right, getting me set up with my own podcast. So, without further ado, let's just hop right into it. So, a little bit about me outside of football. I just graduated August 12th. I got my bachelor's in communication. I actually graduated in 3 years, and I still have 3 years left of eligibility with the whole red shirt and the COVID year and everything like that. So I'm working on my master's this year in sports management, and that's been amazing. Grad school has been so fun for me. It's so different from undergrad because all my grad school classes are online. So like my number one obligation to leave the house is until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's been amazing in that I can just wake up late and just chill at my crib, chill with my dog, and it's an amazing feeling. But yeah, life has been pretty good for me. I'm the president of my own organization, of a student-led organization called the Blueprint, which stands for Black Leaders Who Undertake Excellence. And basically, our motive is to provide a safe space for Black student athletes at a predominantly white institution. So that's been amazing. It's our third year on campus, and we've been making tremendous strides in the right direction. Now on to the good stuff. Um, College football is back, and everybody was excited about that. Obviously, probably the best time of the year is the fall season. So, just recapping a couple of games. That UNC and Appalachian State game, man, we weren't able to watch it because we were in the middle of a game, but we had that crazy weather delay, and we were able to like get the end of it at halftime at our elongated halftime that we had, and man, that onside kick that UNC came back with the touchdown, and then App State missing the 2 point conversion. That was just some crazy stuff, and it's actually crazy because we got App State week two, so film's gonna be crazy this week. Getting ready for them because they just put up 61 points, but I got the ultimate faith in our defense, obviously. Um, Oregon versus Georgia. Actually, one of my old teammates and fellow receivers, Caleb Chapman, he transferred to Oregon this past summer, and it was a bloodbath. It was a bloodbath. Georgia reloaded, and I seen the video of that big tight end they had, and he hurdled the dude, and then he trucked the dude down the sideline. So that wasn't too fun to see. But Georgia's a tremendous program, and they took care of business on Saturday like they always do. Cincy versus Arkansas. I actually didn't know who I had winning that game. It could have gone either way because Cincy and Arkansas, they both have good programs, but Arkansas has a good coach, and I feel like they're starting to buy into their program. So having them as our first SEC opponent, I think like week 4 or week 5 or something like that, that's going to be kind of interesting in Jerry's World in the Cowboy Stadium. So I'm going to be looking forward to that game as well. Notre Dame versus Ohio State. That game, I don't think it really lived up to the hype. Um, it was like the final score was like 21-10. Some of Ohio State's key guys got hurt, but I did have Ohio State winning in that game, so it was good to see them come out on top. Just so I can say that I picked that team to win. But now getting on to us, the Aggies, man, we had our first game against Sam Houston State at 11 a.m. and I'm going to talk about kind of a pregame, like what that looks like from Friday all the way to Saturday after the game. So, day before a game, we have our team meeting at 2 o'clock p.m. and it's for the travel squad only, obviously. So we have team meeting, and then we have a special teams meeting, and then we have position meetings. And in our position meetings, we usually go over the first 15 plays that we're going to be running in the game to start the game. And we take those first 15 plays, and then we actually go out and do a walkthrough, like a whole team walkthrough. And the offense is able to go through their schemes and the plays that they're going to be running and that they schemed up for the week. And the defense has their time to um, go over their calls and their schemes and their blitzes and this, that, and the third. And then special teams, they get to go through their whole spiel. And then after that, We love the buses. We go to team dinner at this hotel called Cavalry Court, and the food is so crazy. Like uh, salmon, mac and cheese, corn, rice, wings, ice cream, brownies. It's everything. So I load up. In the early game, I like to load up on a meal, like a big meal the night before, because I don't like to eat that early. And then we go to the hotel and we get there. We get to put our bags in our rooms and we get to kind of debrief for about like 10, 15 minutes. But then we'll come back downstairs and we'll have another team meeting, and then we'll have another special teams meeting, and then we have an optional chapel, which I kind of like because guys who like me, I'm very spiritual and I have a high faith in God, so we get to go and hear this a quick little sermon for 30 minutes before we come back and have more meetings with Coach Fisher, and after that to kind of get us ready for the game, like the video staff had put on like a little highlight like video of like plays and of just like good moments that we've had as a team, like in the years past and just from last season especially. So we had a lot of clips from the Alabama game and a lot of clips from the Auburn game because those are like two of our most memorable wins from last year. So it's always fun. And then we're usually done around like 8:30 to 9, and then lights are out or room checks are at 10 o'clock, and you kind of have the night to yourself after that. But waking up for game day for an early game is probably the hardest part of the whole deal because we have to wake up at 6 a.m. We have our team walks. So what we do, I don't know if any other team does this, but before every game, the morning of the game, we have a team walk around the hotel, and it's literally just a walk, like a lap around the hotel. I guess just to wake us up. I hate doing it, but we had to do our team walk at 6:30 in the morning, and then since we had an early game, we didn't have breakfast. We just had a pregame meal. So we had our pregame meals after that, and then we had time to go upstairs, put our suits on because our coach was like, "Well, we have to wear suits. Like that's a required attire." And then we do something called chair drill, where the offense goes into like a ballroom, and we kind of set up chairs like at the O line and like the receivers, and we kind of have like a fake defense in front of us, and we go through our plays again, the first 15 plays again. Coach Fisher is really superstitious, so he likes to make sure like everybody's on point with their assignments. So we do a chair drill, and then we get on the buses, and then we go do our spear walk, and that's my favorite part because I get to show off like my fits and what I'm wearing that week to the fans, and we get to see our parents and our family members and our friends beforehand, and then it's off to war. So getting to the actual game, let's talk about the first quarter. Our first two drives, I think we were three and out, if I'm not mistaken. Um, just first game nerves, and we have a lot of new guys on the field now with like the freshmen and guys who just haven't really played before. So, in adjusting to playing in that stadium is no joke because I know when I first had to step into that stadium and start, it was a big deal for me as well. But we didn't click offensively like we would wanted to, but it just comes with time and just staying persistent and believing in what you're being coached to do. Um, I was targeted twice in the first quarter, or I mean in the first quarter. The first one could have been a big play. I even talked to Haynes after it. He just had to get the ball down because I had a widened seam route up the shoot, but the safety rolled over the top. So where he had to throw, he had to kind of fit me in the hole, but he sailed it high. Obviously, anybody who saw it, but we talked about it. It was all good. But then the second one, that could have been a touchdown. And he told me he got pressure. And I came off to the sideline, and Coach Fisher was like, "You were wide open, weren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was open. I was open." So it was hard because everybody wants to score, everybody wants to have their moment of shine, moment of fame. So I thought I was going to have mine, didn't happen, but it is what it is. My teammates, they were able to get into that chicken box and get their touchdown. So I was really happy for them. Um, Keith Brown, man, that's my dog. He went deep. I remember we called the play. It was called, I'm not going to say what the play call is, but I have it underneath in route, and he has the ability to run it, run a hash read like a mini 7-step post, or you can take it over the top. So when we lined up after they called the play, I looked inside to make sure he was on the ball number one, but then I saw that the nickel was pressed. And when I saw the nickel was pressed, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be six. Like this gonna be like the first touchdown of the season. And so I ran my route, and then like right when I broke my head around to look for the ball was in the air, and I just turned around and Yule was just mm, took it to the end zone, and I was so happy for him because um, he's grown a lot. He's a sophomore, and just seeing his maturity from when he first got here and to like where he is now, and how the coaches are really starting to count on him to be like a consistent contributor in our offense. It was really good for him to get that first touchdown. I know my first touchdown, what that feeling was, so I can only imagine what he felt like with just everything that he's been through. So kudos to my dog, You'll Keep Brown, number 8. Hopefully, trying to get him on the show one of these episodes. Um, Now moving on to the second quarter, Sam Houston was moving the ball. They were moving the ball like I mean, obviously our defense is like amazing, but they came to play because they came to play. They were able to move the ball. They were able to get some 3-and-outs on us. But my guy Jordan Gilbert, he was able to get a pick and kind of swing some momentum for us. Um, but then, we had another 3-and-out, and then we came back, and I think we had an interception in there, and the defense just kept getting stops, kept getting stops, but we just couldn't get it together until the end of that half. We had a missed field goal, just those things that you kind of don't want to happen in your first game. They just happen, but life happens sometimes. So that was unfortunate, but we had some growing pains, so we had to get through in that game. But then to close out the second quarter and to close out the half, Ainias came back with a much-needed touchdown. And funny thing was, it was actually the same play that Yoki scored on, but they were just in two different positions. And it was funny because we were on the field, and it was supposed to be Yule, but Coach Fisher sitting up on the sideline for Ainias and Yule to switch because just because we weren't getting the same coverage that we got on Yoki's touchdown. But so, and Nice being a 4-year starter, he just has uh, more just awareness of like how to run the routes against the coverages because he's done it so many times. So um, same route, same end route. We were in a trip set, so we had 3 receivers to one side. So the third receiver, he ran like a crossing seam to pull the safety out of the picture, and then we had the nickel playing off this time. And Ainias just worked it outside half, boom, boom, slipped him right up the seam. And then I think what people don't realize, and like what I say, like Yoki Brown has grown so much in this game. Ainias doesn't score if Yoki doesn't make that block. And if you go back and watch the highlights, people in the stadium were even saying like boom, like every time they showed it because Yoki went and like clean the dude so Ainias could break away and go score. And it's kind of funny because at the beginning of fall camp, um, Coach Fisher was just showing us like old film of like his teams at LSU and his teams at Florida State, of it just how hard those guys used to play at the wideout position and just the offense as a whole, and how they really like played for each other and like just blocking guys down the field and just making these cleanup blocks so guys can score. And that really, I feel like we've never really had like plays of us where we like we're just cleaning guys up for each other and just knocking guys out and just getting everybody turned on the sideline. So watching Yule do that, and then they slowed it down on the big screen, like that was cool. And then Ainias and Yule keep are actually like really close off the field, so like I feel like that was like a nice little brother moment. So that was pretty cool. If you look at both of those touchdowns, they were both over 50 yards, I'm pretty sure. And I know that like from the fan standpoint, like we have lacked big plays, big explosive plays down the field in the years in the past since Coach Fisher's been here. So I think yesterday was kind of a glimpse that fans can start to expect us to do if you notice, we did a lot of empty sets yesterday with like four receivers wide, and we were throwing the ball down the field, trying to get the ball down the field. They started dropping eight, so I think that Haynes, I think he'll see when we watch film tomorrow as a team that he'll see that he could have checked down some of those throws that were interceptions just because they were dropping so many guys. But yeah, we're trying to open up the playbook this year, and I feel like we've us as receivers we've always wanted to do that, but just the personnel. We had Jalen Wademeyer at tight end, and we had Isaiah Spiller, and him and Devon A. Chain. That's like a two-headed monster back there in the backfield. So you had to respect the run. But I feel like now, since we do have some more veteran leadership in the receiver room in terms of like me and Ainias, but we also have these young guys who can go as well, and they picked up the playbook like Evan Stewart and Chris Marshall and Yokeith Brown and Moose Muhammad and all the guys in that room, Noah Thomas, and I feel like he's really starting to trust us because we have been consistent and we've been making plays in practice and we've been making plays all fall camp. So yeah, I feel like fans can really truly this year really start to seeing us throw that pill around, and it's going to be some fun times, especially in that stadium this year. And I'm really looking forward to it. Then we get to halftime. So we did our normal halftime thing where the offense we meet on one side, the defense meets on the other side, and we refuel, get our snacks, get our Gatorades, this, that, and the third. And then we were coming out the tunnel, and I'm like kind of in the middle of the back of of walking out of the locker room, and people were like stopping like at the front of the tunnel, and I'm like what's the deal? Like what are we doing? What are we doing? And then strength coaches come back and they're like, oh, everybody go inside. And we were like, why? And they're like, we're lightning delay. So I'm just like, oh. And mind you, in all of the games I've played in football, period, I don't think I've ever had a lightning delay, like ever. So that was, and then once they explained the rules to us, like they said, after lightning strikes in a 10-mile radius, it's like you have a 30-minute like waiting time. But if lightning starts, if another lightning strikes again, that 30-minute clock starts over. So we went back in the locker room. Coaches were like, no phones, no phones. Everybody stay locked in. Everybody stay locked in. And it was so cold in the locker room. It was so cold. So guys were literally like sitting in their lockers with like getting like huddled up in their towels. And you don't want to take your pads off because you're sweaty because you got to put them back on. So everybody's in their cleats and their pads, and guys are huddled up in their towels in their lockers. Our receiver coach, he came in. He like gave us like a bag of footballs, and he was just telling us to like throw footballs around to like keep our hands warm. And so then we go back outside, and our strength staff is like, okay, we're warming up. Like we're about to go back out there. Like right before we start warming up, they're like, okay, go back inside. Another delay. So then we have to go back inside, and then guys are starting to get restless. Quiet as kept. Guys started pulling out their cell phones. Nobody could resist that. I got on my cell phone for a little bit. I was texting my parents asking them if it was raining. Um, But it was actually kind of funny because we did have some fans like kind of stay in the stands, and so some of the guys would like go down to the end of the tunnel and they would like go interact with the fans, and like the fans would like just be cheering. I actually went down there and started dancing. So it was pretty funny. So that part of it was cool. And then we came back upstairs, and we were wondering if Sam Houston was going to forfeit, but at that time the score was only 17-0, so obviously like they still think that they're in the game. And they're, oh no, we're gonna compete, yada 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 yada. They just stand in third. So we try to win, and we know our coach Jimbo, he's for sure not gonna forfeit a game because that's just not who he is. And so we knew if this game was going to be played, it was going to be played today, and if it was going to be played at 8 o'clock, it was going to be played at 8 o'clock. So after all that, we were able to finally warm up. They gave us like a 20-minute warm up on the field, and it just felt so weird just being out there. Like it felt like you were getting ready for a second game. Like it felt like you were playing like two games in one day. So like we were out there running routes, and like some guys were like dropping balls, and Like guys are like slipping on routes, and it's kind of like it's hard because like it's already hard enough to like lock in for like a half of football, but trying to come from back from like a elongated halftime, like we were in the locker room for 2.5 hours, and so having to deal with that and then trying to lock back in and remember, like remind yourself that you're playing in a football game, like that was extremely hard. But we came out in the third quarter. Finally got finally got my first catch of the game. I had a little out route. I took it up 17 yards. You know, kind of got the sideline back into it and got the crowd back into it. I actually had a nice cut block in that same drive, like a couple of plays later, and it was that my block actually helped like Devon A. Chain like get out to the sideline and get like another first down. So we were moving the ball. We were moving the ball, and we got down to the goal line, tight zone area, and Devon punched it in and made the score 24-0. And Coach Fisher always talks about how it's so important to score before the half, and if you get the ball, that's why we always kick the ball to start the game because he wants the opportunity to get the ball before the half to score, and then he wants the ball back at the beginning of the second half to put more points on the board. So it's an opportunity for you to get 10, 14 points before the other team even touches the ball again. So that's kind of he's very strategic in his coaching style. So we were able to put more points on the board. Score was 24-0. Our defense, of course, got another stop. I don't know if we scored on that next drive, but um, we were moving the ball, had a 3 and out. Just some first game woes, and I think the weather definitely played a factor in that second half. Kind of, the field was kind of slippery, and then the ball getting on the ground, the ball was kind of slippery. But within those woes, I still do think we put like good stuff on film, and I do think that we accomplished a lot of what we wanted to accomplish in this game. Obviously, we didn't want to pull out the whole playbook for week one against Sam Houston. No offense to Sam Houston, but we weren't gonna pull everything out of the bag right now. But I think what we had planned and what we game planned for and what we schemed for, I feel like we were pretty successful in executing that in the most part. And then moving on to the fourth quarter, I had another catch on the sideline, another first down, and ultimately that quarter ended up Ainias had another touchdown. That play is in my opinion unguardable. So we go 2 by 2 sets. So two receivers to the left of the field, two receivers to the right of the field. They run vertical for 5 yards and then they switch release. And it kind of puts the defense in the bind, especially the corners and the safeties, because on both of those routes that switch, like if there was a guy on top of Ainias, he would have the ability to run a comeback. But they had a busted coverage, obviously, because Ainias was open, by like nakedly open down the sideline by himself and just ran it in like a open touchdown. So good play call by Coach Fisher and the staff. Made the score 31-0. And big credits to Coach DJ Durkin, our defensive coordinator. In his first game as a defensive coordinator for Texas A&M, posted a shutout, and I feel like fans can really look forward to that because his defense is very going against his defense in practice is very challenging because it's a lot of different looks, it's a lot of different coverages. They drop 8, they drop 5. It's a lot of different things that goes into that. So you're so worried in the defense while you're playing offense that you get away from what you had to accomplish on offense. And I feel like our defense is going to cause a lot of troubles, like it has done with Coach Elko, who's moved on to Duke University. But I feel like our defense will continue to cause problems for teams that come into that stadium wherever we go. But yeah, Haynes, that QB battle had a lot of attention in fall camp, and I feel like all three of those guys could have rightfully been the guy for us. But I have a lot of faith in Haynes, and he seems to have the best grasp of the offense right now, just because this is his third year in this system, and you can just kind of tell at practice he just comes with a different kind of swag and a confidence in himself. So I wouldn't let the interceptions from yesterday like worry anybody or put anybody in panic mode. It's just you got to remember like this guy only played one true game last year before he had his season-ending injury. So just give him some time. He's a great player. All three of them are great players, but Haynes is a great player, and he's going to continue to make plays that he made on Saturday, the good plays, obviously. So my guy Nias, 6 receptions, 164 yards, and 2 tuds. Like that's an ideal stat line that any receiver would want. And it just goes to show that like this offense is not just restricted to running the ball, and that has been the stigma around our team ever since Coach Fisher has gotten here. But like even like guys like Caleb Chapman, he like when we beat Florida 2 years ago, he had 9 catches and 197 yards, like the most yards ever in a Texas A&M football game at receiver. So um, this offense has so many different levels to it and so many different components to it that I feel like now we're in a position to where we can start slinging the ball around, and um, the more faith that Coach Fisher has in us at receiver, he'll put that faith into Haynes and letting him just unleash and just get the ball down the field. So um, you can expect more numbers like that from Ainias, from myself, from Evan, from any guy in that room. Any guy in that room is capable of putting up those numbers. So I'm really, really eager for the fans to see what we got scheming up this year on the offensive side of the ball. Last minute things, man, from the game. Obviously, you know, like I said earlier, everybody wants to have the moment of fame. I only had 2 catches this past week. Going into that, I saw a lot of more opportunities for myself in watching film and just how they're going to play me to the field because I am a field receiver. But it all comes in time, and I know that I'm going to get my shine on, especially because I'm healthy this year, and I just know that there's some good things for me in store. So I'm just keep my head down. I'm gonna keep working, and just be ready for my number when they call it. So I thank everybody for listening to this episode, first episode of the Pod of Aggieland from yours truly, Chase Lane. Later this week, the season pass for this podcast will be live. We're going to have a free episode just like this one on Mondays where you can listen on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And we're also going to be having a bonus episode every Thursday where I'll be talking about the week of practice, previewing our upcoming game. This week will be against Appalachian State. Interviewing a teammate or someone related to the program. You never know. Really, really excited for these Thursday episodes, and I'll be answering listener questions. So if you want to get that content, make sure y'all get y'all's season pass. I know y'all will really love it. So it's really worth it. Just please get y'all season pass, and we'll post that link for everyone. So keep an eye out for it. And I appreciate the support from everybody. So appreciate the love, and thanks y'all.